Are you live?
Yeah, we are live now.
Yeah, but yeah. You want to ask something?
No, I was just gonna say, let's just get started. That's fine. We can get started.
Okay, welcome to our New Gambia weekly talk show. Today is November 13, 2022. Today we're gonna be talking about the fundamental issues that Gambians are facing. So we have Njaga is gonna drive this conversation, and we're gonna be asking questions as we go along. So Njaga, welcome, and I have my co-host, starting with Njaga, Njaga Juve, from Denmark, right, Njaga?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
make sure.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have my other co-host, Sam Sise from Indiana, and Famara Grame from Maryland, Washington area. Famara, welcome. Thank you. All right, so let's jump right into it, Njaga. You can introduce the topic, and then we can go from there.
Thank you, Sawan. Hello, viewers, to another, I'm gonna call it like a special edition, talking about the fundamental problems Gambians are facing and Gambia is facing in particular. So I am really honored and delighted, Mr. Sawane, to be given this opportunity to lead the debate. It might be kind of difficult because it's not easy to do what do people do. So and I'm really glad also to reconnect here for after a very long time because of being ill and being busy in one way or the other. So I'm really glad to be back here. Thank you, Mr. Sawane. And hi, Sam. Hope all is well and everything is okay with you. Yeah, and Mr. Drame also, we say hi. Okay, today, just to go straight to the point, when we talk about the fundamental problems Gambians are facing, we can name lots of things when it comes to the health sector, when it comes to the educational sector, when it comes to the skill sector, when it comes to the agricultural sector, when it comes to on the unemployment rate, and when it comes to how the things are getting hard and how the prices and inflation is getting higher and higher in the Gambia. So today we are going to try and find about exactly what are the main problems and what can be the solutions and the different kinds of responsibilities in it. So we start with you, Sam. So Sam, what do you think as I said, in Gambia, everything is urgent right now. We have lots of problems that we face daily in our lives. So what do you think exactly, when we see Gambia, from independence until now, it's very, very hard for Gambia to see development. It is either developed in one way and not developed in the other way. But when we talk about the basic needs that we need, that makes us that makes us as humans our daily basic needs when it comes to food, electricity, clothing, security, and all these things. Why is it that still now we don't have maximum solution for all these problems that we are facing in Gambia? Sam.
Yes, well, thank you, Njaga. Thank you. And again, welcome back, definitely. And welcome our viewers as well. This is a very important question. Why are we where we are now based on, since independence, Gambia can't seem to move further, along the way. Some people think that there's development. Some people think there's nothing been done. But I would start with the number one problem. The number one problem we have is corruption. Okay. Corruption held Gambia back a long time. And that's why I always say Gambia today, now we are 57 years old and we're 57 years behind time in my eyes. That's my opinion. Part of the reason is corruption is the number one reason. The second reason I would say is just getting the fundamentals of our government officials. When we talk about development, just in that aspect, you see, the fundamentals are you want to make sure that the person you put in the Ministry of Education, I'll give an example, knows the job, make sure that he knows what to do to move our education system up to the next level. Same thing applies to every department, agriculture. You go to fisheries, you go to lands. We need to have the right and capable people that are competent enough to move our country to the next level, to be able to function and do their jobs, find solutions, people that are going to look at their numbers. Number one, by looking at your budget. If you're in a ministry and here's your budget, well, that budget is very important. How do I spend that budget? What do I do to make a difference here? This is the part that we lack in Gambia, not focusing on the budget and not focusing on what needs to happen in that budget. And also, in fact, properly budgeting, because you need to properly budget. If you don't budget properly, well, you're just going to be wasting money. You're just going to be wasting money. So our problem, our fundamental problem starts with our leadership. So corruption is number one. Number two, having the right leaders in place.
Exactly.
I'll keep it short and simple. Yes.
Yeah, but when you talk about like focusing on the fundamental things on the essentials, why is that focus not there exactly? Is it because of Gambia, like it is like we have this kind of government, or is it the people allowing like it's a free flow government, like anybody can do whatever they want? Or is it because of like we have to go back to basic when it comes to like good governance and when it comes to how to train the people and how to find a solution to give credit to these institutions by putting the right places, people at the right places? So why do you think that like this kind of focus is not there? Is it because of like it is us, or is it because of like is it kind of a habit or a culture, like people do not care that much in a way that the government can do whatever they want to do, or that things can be in a way that even though it is not in an appropriate way, but it can just be done and people can do it and abuse it anyhow they want because of there is not much pressure on those institutions to make it right?
Yep. Good questions. And like I said, since I mentioned number one reason is corruption, and number two, I said leadership. That leadership comes with a lot of things. Leadership is a leader that has a vision, that loves their country, that has respect, integrity, trustworthy, and honest. When you have that, and a leader that will hold himself accountable and hold everyone accountable. When we have that proper leader, that strong leader that is going to be honest to himself and to the country and do the right thing, but select the right people to do their job, then the things will move in the right direction. Unfortunately, we don't have the right people in some areas. We don't have, or in most areas, we don't have the right people that can go into that department and make a difference there. Because one, they're not being held accountable. Number two, they're not holding themselves accountable. In Gambia, one mentality people have is you go to work for the government, it's time to party, right? It's time to party. It's time to get into luxury vehicles. It's time to build yourself a story building. It's time to make your family look better than everybody else. This is the mentality they have, and that's the wrong mentality. Instead, these public servants are there to serve the people, not to destroy the country and not to destroy the people. So they're there to serve the people. They need to know why, the reason why they're in that position. We expect them to do their job and move us from where we are. For example, the health department. If I just pick one department, health department, we expect the health minister, anytime a health minister is nominated, assigned to that post, we expect him to come and make Gambian people's life better. When it comes to health, we expect that person to reform the health department and bring us what real health needs to be, what our hospital need to look like, what our workers need training in as well. Training and development of our people, from the doctors to the nurses to all the hospital workers. Training and development is very important, and Gambians lack that fundamental training. And when they don't have that training, they can't perform. So they put the wrong people in there. They can't perform. They don't know what to do. They're not innovative. They're not creative. They just business as usual. That's part of the problem.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Sam. So someone just to like point out a few things just Sam said. It's all, I think that the fundamental thing about what you said, it was about bad leadership. So someone like why is it that like since from independence it's all about every time we talk about like lack of employment, when we talk about lack of food insufficiency and all those things, we talk about bad leadership. And when we talk about bad leadership and like every year when we hear about the budget that have been put into agriculture, that has been put into education, that have been put into blah blah blah, and still no solution. So is it only bad leadership, or is it us Gambians also we are doing enough like to build our country together with the government? Your mic is not coming, someone.
Yeah, he's muted.
Sorry. This is the question I ask myself all the time. What is our problem?
Yeah.
What is our problem? What do we really know? What the problems? What are our problems? So if we don't understand the root cause, we cannot resolve it.
So exactly, what do you think is the problem?
Okay, so the problem is handful, is a lot. It's not one side. Yes, leadership is the key.
Yeah.
I have two ways of tackling this problem, two solutions. One solution would have to be the leadership. The leadership would come with a mindset of serving the people, regardless if either people likes it or not. That means cutting all the corrupt systems, okay, recycling everybody. I mean, like take recycle folks out of the system, bring fresh and knowledgeable folks on the table who can do the job, not based on nepotism, not based on tribalism.
But someone do you think, like, because of Gambia we have this kind of culture about like family politics, tribal politics, it is like a culture in the Gambia, you understand? Do you think that like just by saying it, or just in this generation, or things gonna change just like that because of that, something that we are used to already?
No, you have
campaign be understand win, blah blah blah, the list goes on. Do you think that like how it is mixed up in our genes when it comes to politics, things can just change just like that?
I think it needs, that's why I said you need a special leader. The leadership needs to come with a clean mindset and say, I have to do this right for the benefit of all people. If I don't set the record straight, the same system would go ahead. So he doesn't have to care about next term. He doesn't have to say be a leader who's ready to stay there for longer. Because if you are there and you want to stay there for longer, you're gonna maslaha. But if you come, just like Sankara and other kind of leaders who wants to make a difference, you don't care what people like. You do the right thing. So that leadership mindset, that's what we need from our leader. Not like somebody who will bow down, who will go and send imams to beg certain people not to protest, who will go and do other things just to protect their political life and stay in power for long. So you need somebody, a pragmatic leader who would come and do things right, either they are voted in the office again or not. So that's one approach. If you have that kind of leader, he will clean the system because he would not care about repercussion. You know what? People will thank him later. So the second approach is that if we have corrupted leaders sitting there, right? Leadership and corrupted government, just like what we are experiencing currently. Now people have to do it from the ground level. How those people do it?
I understand.
People would have to mobilize level-headed guys like yourself, Sam, Pamela, and
but the problem is level-headed guys like me, and the things that you are saying, it will be very difficult for people like that to integrate their politics in the Gambia, because of how politics goes in the Gambia. It's all about money. You understand? It's always politics in the Gambia. It's a period, and when it comes to patriotism and politics, it should be 12 months round through the year, because of like when you do that, it's about like putting your foot next to the state. You understand? Manam funtek satanka ngatek satanka. So you'll know exactly what is going on, how they are using your money, how they are manipulating, how they are doing things, and how they are saying that they are investing things in the things they are not. But people like that, people that you are saying right now, when they come, they would have to use money in politics. And when you have to do that in Gambia, I don't think that you will have any vote because of people are used to money and politics. You understand? People are not used to when we say people are not used to, let's say, slogans, and they are not used to debates. They are not used to, you understand, a politician who will come and speak his mind when it comes to patriotism. What people are used to is like gatherings, things like that, money and stuff like that. So do you think that like we are ready for that change right now?
People are not used to that, but this is what I'm saying. You gotta make them do that. It's just like corruption. If people are not ready to be, clean, you send them to jail. You do things that will scare the heck out of them. They will be meant to, to follow the rules. I mean, everything comes down to and then with the ground up, it has to be a combination of level-headed folks. We have to come together and create a movement and sensitize one another.
Exactly. Thank you, Sam. Mr. Drame, you want to come in or you just want to pass, or can I go back to Mr. Sam?
Yeah, thank you, Jaga. That's a very, very important topic. I think that's why we all should be asking ourselves, where are we going wrong? And start, rectifying the issue based on the priority. Because like Tawana just said, Gambia's problem is just a lot of problems going on in Gambia. And I think those problems are overcoming us not to be engaging in finding solutions, but we'll always, tend to look at the problem instead of looking at the solution. And I tend to agree with Sam a lot, because leadership counts a lot. Because no matter how good policies we have in the government, we can come with our national blueprint, NDA, whatever you call them, the national whatever, development plans that we have. If we don't have the right leadership to implement those plans, it's not going to work. Okay, we can have a good paper, will be there in the shelf, but now if we don't have the right people, the right institution, the right leadership, to implement those laws, is going to be next to nothing. And I think that's our problem here right now. And then we need to separate politics from national development. I think that's also very key. And corruption is a big, big issue for us right now. That's something that we need to tackle, because the government is losing a lot of money.
And that was in kind of because of that was the next question about like how to tackle this kind of corruption, because of when we come to like in every country they say that the media is the fourth power when it comes to the main power, the legislative power, you understand, the legislative power, the judicial power. So when it comes to press, they say that it is the fourth power when it comes to the country. So do you think that our media are doing enough or being at that level that they are making people aware? And when it comes to, are we aware politically? Don't you think that our lack of awareness politically is causing all these problems in our country?
Yes, it is contributing a lot. And then the media is also biased in terms of what they report. And because we see a lot of media talking about maybe party politics or what is going on in the coup and all those things, they don't address the real problems. Because Gambia, our economy depends on agriculture. But how many of the journalists talk about, agriculture? They give a good report about agriculture. What is our status of our preparedness as the rainy season comes? We see the president going in and out for nationwide tour. Who follow up to what the president is promising the farmers?
Exactly, because of, I don't think that lack of media pressure is why everything is so chilling in our country and in our government. Like everything is okay, whilst we see other African countries like they are maybe encountering less than the Gambia are encountering, but the whole world is hearing it because they feel that it is not enough. They feel that they have the right to duty and blah blah blah. They feel that the corruption is enough. They feel that they need a change. Why is Gambia like everything is okay? Like everybody feels that it is okay, and we know that it is not okay.
Exactly. So the three drivers to our economy is agriculture, tourism, and fisheries. And you look at all these three sectors, we're having problem. Government investment, government, how they bringing in to help this sector is not promising at all. Agriculture is almost dead, and then thanks to our rural folks in the rural areas are actually feeding us right now. Because if you look at the greater Banjul area, the Banjul and the Combos, now these real estate companies have now invaded in our land. There's no land policy that's going to stop people from buying lands wherever. Now all the farmlands in the Combo have now been turned into settlements. They all been to real estate. So those families that used to feed themselves 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, now they have to go to buy a bag of rice to get their family feed because they have sent all their farmlands to real estate companies. But what is government doing to protect those lands so that people can be able to feed themselves? Where we can say this is enough for a real estate company now, I think we need to look at all those things. Agriculture in the rural areas, since Jawara's time, every meat farmer store, the complaint and we hear from farmers, it's the same thing over and over. We don't have a tractor, we don't have a fertilizer. We don't have a tractor, we don't have a fertilizer. And that has been going on over. And we have seen a lot of tractors coming in. But how are those tractors being utilized? Because during Jammeh's time, I remember Taiwan had given like 39 tractors, one time, and then another Japanese also did donate some tractors. So now, how are those tractors helping the farmers? Or are they just giving them to their political yai companies in the region to manage? And at the end of the day, those people are not even farmers, but they will end up politicizing everything. And then the farmers will not get the tools that they need, to produce the rice, to feed ourselves, because we are saying River Gambia is enough to feed us. The land in CRR is so vast that it can produce rice. But still, we're depending on importation of rice.
Exactly.
So nothing is changing. Okay, you look at the fisheries. The fisheries is in the hands of foreigners right now. The Senegalese are actually bigger play part in our fisheries now. And then, without them, we cannot have fish. If the government is serious in improving that sector.
But when it comes to that part, when it comes to fisheries and how we know it, don't you think that also us Gambians also as youths, because of all those people fishing in the Gambian shores or fishing in the Gambia at the Tangiers or the places like the Bakaus, those places they are occupied by just Senegalese youths. So why do you think that also we have a kind of responsibilities, like we try to tend to pick the things that we should do or we want to do or we think that we can do or we can't do? Do you think that is causing a lot of unemployment and laziness also in our country, not just about the government, but also us also as
interestingly, there are many Gambians interested in fishing. You go to Bakau, you find that Gambians are on their own boat. The Senegalese might overcome them in terms of the numbers, but there are Gambians who are on boats. They go to Bakau for fishing. They come out, and you go to
because I know, because if you go to Senegal, there are more Senegalese in their fishing areas than Gambians or any other foreigner. So that's why they leave their country and come to our country. Don't you think that also we should do more?
Yeah, we should do more, also. But the government should also help us to do more. How? Because in Gambia, it's only in Gambia that we have an open access to fisheries in Gambia. You can come from Senegal today, you have a capital to buy a boat and fishing net. You can go in straight away the next day, you go fishing in our water. There's no control.
No,
so
exactly.
So if those people are coming with their capital, no, we don't know how they're getting money from Senegal, but they are coming with their capital. That means they have money to buy a boat, they have money to start up a fishing net, and then start up something that they can do, and eventually their business grow, and the fishing industry grow, and they start doing something bigger. But in my country, in Gambia, just like recently, have you seen Tafanjai with some bits of Brufut with lobsters? And you hear those youths in Brufut, they are Brufutians. They are working for Senegalese. Some of them are working for Senegalese for many years. They don't even have a fishing boat. Those youths are interested. Some of them have been.
No, that is the problem. That's why we started from like still now. We will come back to that. Still now, why it is Gambia still on the living on the extreme poverty? What is the problem still? And Gambia, like we are talking about 2 million people. We are talking about the scarce of land that we have. We are talking about water. We are talking about the sunlight. We are talking about you can name it. You can name it. You can name. Why is it that still now we are living still now on the extreme poverty? That's a very big problem.
Yeah,
but
fisheries, if we can control fisheries, the Gambia will not be poor, because when the local communities, they have something to feed on and they have a livelihood, they don't care what the government does.
Exactly.
So
no, that is a problem. We should care, because of any time we think that we are okay with something, we should always feel that we still have more to have. You understand? You can never be okay with our governments. Never.
Yeah.
Okay, Sam, it's the same thing like we are talking about. Drame was saying, like the political awareness. Don't you think that is the problem? And also the role of the media. Don't you think that they should do more when it comes to of their institutions, their politics, and also their leaders, and how things are, not just in the Gambia, but in the sub-region and around the world, because that also helps to have a picture of exactly whether your country is going in the right direction or not.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And, if you remember, or you may not remember this, there was a time we talked about corruption here, and I talked about the key ingredients in stopping corruption, and one of those is empowering the media to be able to hold government, the media and the citizens, to hold the government accountable. So yes, media. Unfortunately, we don't have enough media coverage in our government. Media is involved in or engaged more talking about political talks and getting political figures talking about politics, and we don't have investigative journalism. If we have investigative journalism, like one guy that did, I don't know his name, that went to fisheries and revealed what was happening there, and had a recorded audio or video of Bunja, or Banja, or whatever that name is, the permanent secretary of the fisheries department, in those days. So we need more of that. We need media to go out to every department and ask questions that pertains to Gambia and pertains to our development, and see what the ministry is doing. That ministry is doing, and if there's anything the ministry wants to, or the minister wants to cover with the people, tell the people the truth. And also, for example, the national audit, they came out with a lot of revelations, with a lot of millions missing in Gambia. I've not seen media. If I were in the media environment, that's a great opportunity to take that and run with it. Run and go to those ministries and ask them, what happened? Where's our money? Who took the money? What are you guys doing about it? And what are you going to do to stop this from happening again? They should be doing things like that, but it's not happening. So media coverage is very important in any society and in any economy, or in any country, in other words, because they are empowered to report that. There's freedom of media, the freedom of the press. They need to be able to follow all of those and enlighten people, because one of the fundamental things that Gambians lack is correct information. They don't have the correct information. Gambians, they see is something today. Even if I come up on media today and say, God forbid, if I say the RVH has fallen down, I mean, I guarantee you people will run with it and say the RVH has fallen down without even knowing the truth. Without
even researching,
without finding anything in no detail, they just run with it. That's what Gambians do.
Do you think that, like, exactly because of, like, when you see how things are and how the journalism works, you think that there's lots of lack of professionalism when it comes to the career, when it comes to the education, when it comes to how journalism should be, how to find sources and where to find your sources? I think that it's kind of a problem and issue when it
that's
comes
a
to
fundamental principle of journalism. Definitely the proper training. They need the proper training. I don't know how much training they're getting in Gambia there, but they really need to be trained. And I know there are some of them that I've seen them being awarded certificates for attending certain training in certain courses, but I think they still lack quite a bit. There's quite a bit that they lack, and they need to have the proper training for them to be able to function correctly and report to the people what they are doing and be able to help the Gambians hold the government accountable. But at the end of the day, it all comes back to what I said earlier: leadership. Leadership is the key to everything. There is so many problems in Gambia. And unfortunately, Gambians focus on the problems. The same problems will be all over media. You go to WhatsApp, you go to TikTok, you go to Facebook, you see the same problem, circulating everywhere. And nobody from the government talks about the solution. You see, just like Bamar said, solution. I am solution minded. I like to dwell on the problem.
Like when I see like someone like do some of the, I don't know, the deputy speaker of the president, flashing off from New York to how his lifestyle, used to be there, setting an example how the Gambian used to be there, advising the president about exactly the state of our country. When it comes to how the state of our country is right now, and we are in a critical situation. Instead of focusing on that and being a serious person, you are there flashing something else and showing off something else. You understand much more different from why you are there exactly in that kind of position. Do you kind of like that leaders also there, this kind of lack of professionalism and this kind of respect to our institutions, or exactly this kind of understanding the role that they are given in our government?
Well, yes, that's when I said, when you put the wrong people in the wrong places, that's what you get.
Exactly. That's the same thing. I'm just saying an example because I have to say it.
Those are the wrong people that are working for us that should not have been.
Exactly.
If you don't give an example, how can we relate to this?
Yeah, exactly. Because of and my problem is, you see some social media outlets posting it and being okay with it. I'm asking myself, what has my Gambia turned into? You understand? This should be something that people should look at and understand exactly why people are living this way in our Gambia. Simple. It just tells everything. They are not working. They are just playing around. Simple.
Those are people that are wasting taxpayers' money. The government is wasting taxpayers' money by employing and paying people like that to follow them.
They
have no place in our government.
The weight of the positions that they are in. That's the problem. They don't
know
the
way we are thinking here, you and I and Sawani and Farmer, the way we are thinking here, if we were in the government, people like that will have no place. No place in anywhere in the government, really. Because they don't belong there. They have nothing to do there. So employing the wrong people.
Exactly. And the first lady out there in a concert dancing, and people think it is okay, she's empowering a musician. This is the problem. This is why I've always said I think that it is us also. Sometimes 50% of the responsibility is our mindset and our mentality. Exactly. What should we focus on? Exactly. What are the main important things that we should focus on as Gambians, as youths? If I told that we have to take over our country and make it a better place.
This is where the government takes the lead. The government takes the lead and clear the path for how the country should be going, because that's why people go to elections and elect a president, vote to get a president. They have a strong belief that when they pick a president, that president is going to move our country forward. And unfortunately, it doesn't always happen that way. So, and we are in that kind of situation right now. And that's why changes are very important. We need to have leaders that are going to move us in the right direction. Otherwise, we're not going anywhere. And I'll add another thing here. In Gambia, I think one of the things that we lack is the presence of the television stations, or the importance of television stations. There can be a lot of programs that will educate Gambians if we put those programs in television.
I was coming to that.
Okay, good. If the television stations are used for those, they come up with very creative ways to educate Gambians and have programs every week. Certain part of the day is about this. Every Tuesday is about health. Every Wednesday is about agriculture. Every Thursday you bring different people, experts in, and talk about that is going to educate people. Bring some people in that are going to talk about the risk associated taking the back way to Europe. You know, bring someone that knows that. You bring someone in that's going to talk about, you know, a lot of different aspects. So we need to have those programs on our televisions to enlighten people rather than Gambians watching Nigerian movies and Gambians watching Senegalese musicians. You know, Gambians could be focusing on knowing something and prepare for a future.
Exactly. Someone, as Sam just said, like bringing in people who are going to educate us when it comes to our politics, when it comes to our economics, when it comes to finance, our budgets, and because of my problem is, okay, like, don't you think that it is like we have to go back to the education level because of the most educated people, they don't think that they are there for the media or to be on TVs or on screens, you understand. In Gambia, we have this kind of habit that when you are educated, can speak good English, you have this kind of degrees, you want to go and sit in the offices and work. And in Gambia, the people who are not educated to a certain level or to a certain grammar level or vocabulary level are much more than the people who are at that level, you understand. So that's also is another problem. So, and when it comes to that kind of like media influence, do you think that all these problems combined together, it will help Gambians to know exactly the state of their country when it comes to the lack of personnel, the lack of intellect, and the lack of materials, and the lack of passion or patriotism? So what do you think that if all these things are lacking, how can we pave a way to have this kind of political awareness through the media?
Okay, so first, the political awareness that is happening in the Gambia is intended. It's an intention. It's not like they're not saying.
Yeah.
How many years this platform?
Intended like how?
People just choose what they want to do. It's just that they don't want. They just don't want to. No, they just don't want to learn. They just don't want to go and vote the right way. They want to stay with the old system of somebody bringing back of rice.
But the problem is, okay, that is the problem. Like, okay, if you don't know exactly why you are voting, if you don't know that voting card you are having is like a weapon, it's like a key to opening or closing your future. If you don't know the value of that voting card, do you think that you will know exactly the value of who you are voting for or the consequences or the
so that's
and all these things? So do you think
that is the thing here? The challenge here is that we are here, even on the show, how many years, pounding on people to be able to think and know the value of their voting card. Alice mentioned that here so many times, and we say it over and over. People need to start to understand that voting is the power. They're the one who put these folks in power. These people are not. These people should be following them. They shouldn't be following the politicians. But because of poverty, because of greed, it goes the other way around. If you look at the West, the politicians are the one who go after folks. So that's what I'm trying to say. But that language has been spoken. Maybe it doesn't get to them in the right way. Maybe, perhaps, or maybe we are not doing the right job. But we always talk about that, and then many medias also illustrate. I mean, say that over and over. But here is the thing. You mentioned something. The reason why we have this political mess and all the educated people stayed away, because those educated people feel like their voice had not been heard by the average Gambians. They rather go with somebody who is not smart enough, who has no knowledge of leadership, who they can twist around in their corrupt way, than somebody like Khalifa. I'm not a Doi fan. I mean, PDOIs, but somebody who would bring them ideas
Exactly.
things that can work. They think that that is complicated, or they probably they are not related to that person. They say, we don't understand what he's saying, or they're trying to label him somehow. But this is the kind of philosophy that will save the country. But they go and undermine that and then follow somebody who they know that cannot deliver. They're going to do the same way, cycling the same folks back in the system, following the same routine that Jawara and Jammeh did. And now we see ourselves in the hole. So the politicians, the folks who are actually knowledgeable, they start to back out and see they have no chance, because this is already a messy system. These populists are not listening to us. Look at when Isafal came. Everybody thought that he had a chance because he had everything from money to education to experience to everything. But look at the scoreboard. He barely, his results was embarrassing.
So those kind of that kind of politics is a problem. That's why we all know that they are so good.
Let me make this clear here. Because of this, there's a vacuum. For now, the same people to be holding more office. Look at the advisors for the current government. I don't like to call names, but some of those advisors, they were working with me here under me in this community. And then they praise the kind of work I do. How can people like that? I mean, if I cannot advise the president, not like I cannot advise the president, but how can folks like that be determining the mind of our leader right now? It is sad. We are in a sad land. Yeah. I don't know how we can evacuate it. But we are in a sad land.
Yeah, of course. Because of when we talk about Gambia, when you think about it, it's kind of very sad, because of when we have to build it, we have to rebuild it from scratch. So that's why I like, okay, Famara, are you there? Famara
is on me.
Sam, Sam. Yeah, I'm talking about like how to, when it comes to rebuilding, do you think that like when it comes to the government, when it comes to us as citizens, when it comes to us in the diaspora here, do you think that we are investing in the right things that we should invest in when it comes to starting from the government? And when it comes to the media, do you think that like we also Gambians we know exactly the power of the media, and are we doing enough to invest in that media to make it something like that can help Gambians when it comes to making them aware of their country?
Yep. I think, I would say yes and no. And the reason I said yes and no is, yes, Gambians, especially in the diaspora, from 2016 elections or before, prior to 2016 election, Gambians got on social media and really talked. They worked very hard, especially people in the diaspora. There has been all kinds of, I was part of it. I talked, but I was not on, at that time, I was not even on Facebook because of the nature of my job, I didn't have time for all the social media. But I was on WhatsApp during Jammeh's time. When Jam was there, I was on WhatsApp. I was talking. And there was so many people like me that were talking. A lot of people were talking those days, trying to educate people, and our audience were going all over the place. So the diaspora did a lot. But the problem is, diaspora don't have any right to vote. They seize our rights to vote. So we couldn't vote. The only thing we could do is talk. Right now, the people that are out actually on the ground that are going to vote or that votes for during elections are people that don't all have access to WhatsApp or Facebook. If you go in the Upper River Division, so you go to certain parts of the country, there's no internet. They don't have WhatsApp. They can't. They just have a simple phone. Some people don't even have telephones. All right, so they don't have internet. So these programs would have been best if they were on television in Gambia and also on radio stations. People, I know people in the rural area, they listen to news. If they don't have an ability to listen to a WhatsApp audio, they have old radio stations, old radios that they can tune in and listen to what is happening and what's being said. So the education in the country there having all sorts of programs for people. Now, a lot of people have televisions in Gambia, all right? Compared to back in the days when there are no televisions or very little television around. So, you know, having that ability in Gambia, I think plays a key role. This is what we are lacking inside the country. That's why I mentioned that the television stations need to be used for this and drop politics and forget about politics. Get programs in there that is going to make people want to watch them. You know, even a simple thing like what we're doing today. If a television station get us, or not just us, but anybody that is going to talk about some fundamental principles or development aspects of our country, put them on television, let them talk about that, people are going to watch. People are going to listen.
Exactly.
They're going to learn something.
Exactly.
People are going to know. I mean, I personally, I got on WhatsApp during elections or before elections, and I told people how important their vote is. Like someone said, Allah said it on here. I was on WhatsApp. I released a lot of audios about how important it is to vote and what is the importance of their voter registration card. I talked about a lot of things about that. But the thing is, if that was on television in Gambia and people sitting there and watching and seeing that, it's going to change a lot of people's mindset. People are going to see that, well, what this guy is talking about is very important, because if we vote for a president, we're giving that president a key to our country. A key to our country, meaning our economy. We're giving him everything about our to spend our money anyhow he wants. Is he going to spend it on healthcare? Is he going to improve our education? Is he going to improve our agriculture? If he's going to is he going to improve our fisheries and tourism department? You know, these are all things that people need to know before they vote, so that they can vote for the right person who they think. And I also said, presidential debates. I said it so many times on WhatsApp audios and on here as well. There should be a debate which includes the president. The incumbent needs to be on stage. So
good luck on that.
Good luck on that. What are you going to do for our country? Since you've been here 5 years already, we've already seen what you've done. What are you going to do in the next 5 years? Why should we vote for you? He need to convince people that, not this, not anything else, and not anybody talking on behalf of him. People need to hear from him compared to other candidates. Bring that debate in there for Gambian people to see on television who is the right
that is the problem. That is the problem. That's why, like, when you talk about that, let's say, for me, it is also included, like, in it, like, we try to also find out the kind of president leaders that we select, the state of intellect, because when we have presidents who cannot be involved in a kind of a debate or simple debates or political debates or debate about their program, their agenda, or their whatever, it's kind of a problem we Ghanaians are facing. So I think that it's time that, like, we need other faces and other level of intellect when it comes to politicians. Yeah, someone, you were saying something, a conclusion about what was, yeah.
No,
I saying something.
When he mentioned presidential debate, I said, you know, good luck good luck on that.
Yeah, that may come maybe in 10, 20 years.
Well, you know,
because the whole system has to change. The whole system has to change.
I'll say this here. I'll say this here.
Yeah.
I personally reached out to Fatu Network and I sent them a message to try and host presidential debate and invite all these people. And they did. They did, but the president was not there. They had some people.
No, that's why I said. That's why I said.
So they did something, even though it was a start. It was a move in the right direction. It was not up to my expectation the way it needed to be. I mean, but the first time of everything is a learning opportunity. It's maybe something to learn from and move on, and maybe make the next one better.
Maybe someone should have just informed the president that you don't need to do it in English. It's not by force. He should have done it in Mandinka or whatever. The only thing that was important is we just needed to hear
the people that are giving him the wrong information, the wrong advice. Those are the people telling him that.
Yeah? No, but you know, again, the president would prefer not to show up and do it in Mandinka, because again, the critics will come and say, they will have something to say again. The reason
But
why,
but I think that if he can, but I think that he was with the vice president. So I think that like if you can do it, maybe a vice president could have done it, because of a vice president is more like of a president. If you could have done it, maybe.
no, but people are not voting for the vice president.
Yeah, I know that they are not voting for the vice
They
president,
want
but
to hear the
unless
president.
yeah, he's the president, he's the candidate. But the problem is like, you know, you will never be amazed when that happens in Gambia. You know, things like Gambians, not everything is normal there. But I think like in another way, I'm just saying it in a sarcastic way. So you understand? So it's kind of like crazy when we have a president who can't like, you know, have this kind of debates to make things clear about his plans and his program. So it's just about
again, this is a careful, calculated move by advisors. You probably have
and this tells you that then what are they saying when they go out to villages to towns for their campaigns? Because of it's the same thing that they ask you to come and say live on TV whilst everybody is sitting. So it's a debate between you and the other person.
Because
so when you go out on campaign, then what did you say? What did you say to the people? What did you?
No, it's easier. It's easier on the campaign because you are not under scrutiny or you are not being questioned on things that you didn't know.
It's so, just a free flow.
Exactly, and there's no teleprompter. There's no teleprompter with this.
Exactly.
So if it is US here or other places, they will have teleprompter who will be giving them the answers. So that
whether it is right or wrong.
That's what happened to Trump.
That vote was with our African leaders.
Exactly. So Trump would be looking at Trump teleprompter while they're asking questions. That's how he was able to. But we don't have that in Gambia.
The way I look at it is someone that is going to be a president, you know, is not a joke running a country. It's not a joke to be a president for any country. So whoever we select as a president need to be that firm person, person that everyone can say, yeah, this person can do it, you know, but you need to show that. The president needs to be on the stage. People need to be able to ask those questions, same questions they ask other candidates. And for the president, you know, being an incumbent at that point, you know, it doesn't favor him anyhow. It's a fair ground. It's a fair playground where they ask the same question to every candidate, and every candidate need to be honestly be able to answer that without looking at any piece of paper, you know, without having any advisor standing by and tell you what to say.
You know, it's not about Gambia problem. I think that it's about Africa as a whole. I don't think you just have few presidents who are ready for presidential debates. Even our neighboring country in Senegal, the president doesn't have the guts to do that. It's not just Gambia; it's most of our African countries.
Well, that's how you can tell someone that's confident about what and know what they're going to do. Someone that has the know-how. Because if you don't know how to do things and you don't have any confidence in yourself, you just want to rely on people to tell you what to do. Well, that's not going to run the country. That's not going to fly. A president need to know something and need to be able to stand up and speak without looking at any piece of paper. We need that kind of confidence in our president, in any president. So that's why a debate is very important. It tells people a lot about that person. The moment you open your mouth and start talking, that's how the more you talk, the more you're talking about yourself. That's how people know you, you know, and this is what's going to help Gambians determine who is the best fit, who do they have confidence in that is going to run that country. That's why we need that.
Okay, thank you. I think that now we will soon wrap up. Just to go back for our conclusions, like someone, what is your conclusion? Because when we talk about the fundamental problems, we talk about bad leadership, we talk about media influence, we talk about political awareness, we talked about education, agriculture, fishing. So what's your conclusion?
Yeah, basically, I think this topic is very essential when it comes to the way forward for Gambia. Everything boils from leadership, of course, but I will not only stop there. I think sensitization is going on. Let's improve that. Let's make sure that our people are willing to change too. They have to be willing to change. Attitude change in the Gambia is highly needed. We cannot be doing the same thing and expect a different result. That's the definition of insanity.
Exactly.
You know, so we need to start doing things differently, and we need to stop begging these politicians bread and butter. We need to start, you know, being self-sufficient. Setting our kids started, you know, skill works, and started to create things on themselves. The Gambian people need to learn how to self-develop, not only depend on the government. We get into businesses, we be creative, and we support it in community levels to build from grassroots level. Because I mean, let me tell you, these people are not going to do it. I mean, recently we put a system in our home, where that was the responsibility of a government to do. We did it as citizens of our home, our village, because we feel like they are not doing it. So community level, people have to start to do something. Either it is boreholes, either it is irrigation, either it is putting street lights, either it is putting stuff. We need to start that. Maybe if the government sees that people in power, they will feel embarrassed, and then they probably will start to act. So and let's hold them accountable. When we go to the voting vote, if they are not doing what they're supposed to do, let's hold them accountable. So these are the ways that I think we can change as a country.
Thank you so much. Sam, your last words?
Yeah, my final word here is I'll go back to what I started with. Corruption is the biggest problem in the country. And of course, corruption cannot be handled, cannot be solved, cannot be stopped without a great leader. We have to have the leadership. Like I said, leadership is key. No matter what the problem is, if you have the right leader, they will come up with a solution for that problem. They will come up with a solution. And Gambia needs solutions. Gambia needs change a system. We have to change system. You cannot just say, well, when somebody steals money, you take them to prison, arrest them and take them to prison. That's not the end. Well, if you don't stop and put a system in place that will stop people taking our funds, then you're still going to be sending more people to the prison. You're just going to be sending people to jail. People are going to be taking, the ones that are not lucky will be caught and they will be taken to jail. You've got to put something in place. So changing our systems, changing people's mindset, and changing how we operate, coming up with standard operating procedures in our country. All of these are all part of leadership. We expect leaders to do this. And if leaders don't know how to do this, they should step away. Or people need to vote somebody else and give somebody else a chance to come in and help fix our country. Otherwise, like I always say, Gambia is 57 years old, and we are 57 years behind time. And we're going to continue to be behind time until we have the right leaders in place that are going to make all of this possible by holding themselves accountable first, then hold people accountable. Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you very much, sir. Famara, are you there?
Thank you, Njaga. Very, very important discussion. I must add my voice that I'm still against the U.S. Embassy occupying that piece of land next to the monkey.
Yes, and exactly.
It's a big debate going on in our country. And then just like any other issue, when it comes, it's usually put under the brush, under the carpet. People forget about it. But this one, I am not forgetting about it. I'm going to put cheap pressure on U.S. government. And then I'll do my best to engage my partners or my colleagues on the ground in the environment sector. We need this area. It's a very, very important area.
Very important.
For biodiversity conservation and for the future generation. American government will never trade their forest park for an embassy. I work with the department here in the forest department here in the US. I know how much they are concerned about protecting their environment. So why would Gambia government, try to?
That's a big issue in our Gambia. That's what I say. Sometimes I think about it. Do we exactly know what we are doing sometimes?
Yeah, we don't know. And then just like they say in sensitization, our people don't know anything about environmental protection. They think we have
the impact and all these consequences. They don't know.
They don't know. They don't know. So all what they're seeing now is the $28 million US that they say they're going to give them for that area.
Yeah, the only thing they hear about is the dollars, and
it's the
you know,
dollar
you
sign.
have,
They don't
yeah,
care.
you have other countries like raising a campaign, building this environment and their policies, and we are damaging ours. We are selling ours.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but otherwise, I think we you know, our country, we need to look at solutions and then get our leadership and work together and fight corruption. So that's what is eating lots of money, and then we don't know where our money is going. All these aids and grants coming into our country, we don't know where they are spent. When they are spent on project, you realize that what they say is spent on this project. If you look at it in Jaga, you know, if you million length is spent for road construction, you look at the of that road and you think about the money that they spend there, and yet somebody is still in office occupying that office, you know, and they are cheating us. Broad daylight.
No, my problem. We Africa, instead of we use these projects to develop our country, we use this project to rahas money.
Yeah.
To wash money.
Exactly.
That's how we use these projects for. A project that should be for 500,000, we say it is $10 million.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so it's kind of a problem. Yeah. Thank you, Famara. Thank you, Sama, and thank you, Mr. Sawane, for the time and for the lovely debate. I hope that viewers also will learn something about it, and I hope to meet again next Sunday, inshallah.
Yeah, thank you, Njaga, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you. It was a great day and a great discussion. So thank you all.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mama.
Thank you.
Thank you, Njaga. Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.